So thanks for joining us today on Punch Me in the Face. One of my favorite people in the world has recently become JJ Redick. And if y'all know JJ Redick, like he's a basketball star, collegiately, NBA, had a very long career. And the other day, Stephen Smith, who was not a basketball star, like you could tie your feet together, no matter who you are, and your hands together, and you could beat him one-on-one. And then like Mad Dog Russo, which again, I think pick anything, kickball, anything, you'd beat him at. And the thing I've been saying for a long time, because I don't understand it, and there's a lot about the sports world on that side, on that broadcast, on that media, on the analysis side that's confusing. Ernie Johnson gets it, right? You got Shaq, Kenny, Charles. He's a phenomenal facilitator. He's a stud. He's got a great voice. He does his job. He moves from thing to thing. He comments on the games and the sports, and he does it in a way that makes a lot of sense. He allows the men, because those are all guys in that room, he allows them to have the opinions about the sports, about the athletes, about the refs, about the coaches. He facilitates, but he allows them to. And Stephen A. Smith, who I've never, ever thought was like remotely, you know, I took my son a long time ago to a Cavaliers game, and we had these court seats. And we went early because, like, I always go early, and he was, you know, quite young. And I was like, we got there, and they're shooting this little thing, and he's in my seat, standing up, doing a thing. And he's like, and I go down, and they're like, well, he's using your seat. I'm like, that's funny because, like, I paid for that fucking seat. I ain't asking you. He's got to go. And there was a Cleveland police officer who was like, yeah, like, dude, pay for the seat. Tell him to get out. He said, or give them a better place to sit or stand in the interim. So I went over there, and I was just thinking, like, man, you little shit. Like, I could knock you the fuck out. Like that little sarcastic look on your face, right? And I already genuinely don't like people that have such an opinion about things they've never done. And it's like every other aspect of life. And what JJ Redick said to them was like, you've never played basketball at any kind of competitive high level, so you don't know. When he starts talking about Kawhi Leonard should retire and injuries, and JJ does a phenomenal job, talks about his hamstring and the mental and but all that stuff I'll leave up to JJ Redick because he called people out who, like, we just allow them to exist in the world. Like, we allow them to. Like, they get on and Skip Bayless screams and cries and screams like he sounds like a little girl that, like, stepped on a tack. And he's a grown man. And you're looking at him, you're like, dude, like, look how unathletic you are and little and, like, how needy you are and, like, And that's my assessment is from one human being to another. I don't need to be a human behavior specialist to notice that. But where are you allowed to have those opinions about people that's what I don't get. And when I was trying to go through, I'm like, who else has done this? Because, like, this should happen more often. And again, it's a tip of the hat or a testament to athletes, professional athletes who don't do that. And I'm always like, why don't they do that? You know, and I don't know. So I'm asking, like, why don't they do that? Like, how would they let somebody that doesn't know anything about what they do, has never competed at any level ever in their lives, get up there and run their mouths to them, like, know what the fuck they're going through? Like, where else in the world do we let that happen? Like, you don't walk in to Jeff Bezos' office with no experience and go, let me tell you what you need to do. You don't get on TV and start running your mouth. Like, nobody lets you do that anywhere else. In politics, it's just a show, right? So this is like the WWE. It's a bunch of people running their mouths about all kinds of shit. Nobody really cares. But, like, I mean, honestly, like, it's like everybody's pronosticating. You could be in the media one day, you could be a politician the next day, because there's really no requirement or any level of experience needed. You just get people voting. You're cool. But professional athletes, where in the world do we get people who've never competed? And being a facilitator, I get all that. Color analyst, talking about the game, some really good, I get all that. But when people say stuff like, well, so-and-so sucks, I'm like, but he played. And by the way, aren't there a lot of really good athletes out there post-career, especially some of the ones that didn't play with the contracts that they have now, that would be a hell of a lot better than Stephen Smith screaming at people? Oh my God, and don't you know, you should understand. Like, dude, shut up. You don't have the right to, you don't have the right to an opinion. Well, that's a little bit harsh. see, there's an opinion on that ball went out of bounds, and I think it was last touched by that team. Anybody can have that opinion. Kawhi Leonard should be forced to retire because he's injury prone, hasn't handled injury right, did this, did that. He didn't play in these couple games. He obviously, news he went through something with his sister. She got sentenced to, looks like she got sentenced to life in prison. That could not have been an easy time. I mean, I don't have a sister, but if I did and she got sentenced to life in prison, no matter what the circumstances, that'd be a tough time for me, whatever relationship I did or didn't have with her. But thank God we need a JJ Redick day. And I get the concept of, well, people watch because they hate him. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, I understand the concept that you watch a commercial, it's stupid, and the product stays in your mind, you might accidentally buy it. And I do understand that sometimes you're like, so-and-so so annoying, but I really don't think that most people will watch somebody for that long that they hate. Maybe they just like to make comments about it. And the dude's gotten plenty of passes. I mean, the domestic violence thing back in the past, how he decided, and I don't care if the woman hits you in the head with a brick. You get out, it's not what you do. You have your own opinion. But he said stuff that other people would have been fired for. And just keeps piling on and piling on. And I just don't understand how and again, I believe it's because we as a society think so little. We enamor athletes' athletic ability. We do. But somehow I don't. But it seems to me like the world is like, well, they're just there to perform for us. So they have to deal with everything. And it's so they have to deal with the fans, the drunk assholes. And then they got to deal with a dude like Stephen A., who can't walk and chew gum, who gets to scream and yell, and literally say you should retire, the worst superstar of all time, the worst, dude's won a couple championships, and how can somebody that's won nothing be so opinionated? And more importantly, how do we let it happen? Like, how are not more people that have played like JJ Redick going, dude, could you just shut the fuck up, please? Like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Could you please, for the love of God, shut your mouth? Shut your mouth while you're talking to me. Like, dude, shut up. What do you know? Like, have some respect for yourself. And I don't know the ratings. It's not my world, but I don't know. I'm good listening to Shaq, Charles, and Kenny. They have the right to all the opinions that they have. They're respectful, I think, of the athletes. They're honest. And they've walked in their shoes so that they know what it feels like. I mean, these guys will get up on their pulpit and talk about, he missed a free throw. How could he do that? I don't know. Have you ever taken a free throw with millions of people watching you on TV and 15,000, 20,000 scream at the top of their lungs in person, and you're now like, you've been playing for God knows how many minutes and exerting everything you got in your life, and have you ever done that? No, but they'll preach to you about it, how stupid it is. People used to be like, can't you believe Shaquille O'Neal's not better at foul line? I'm like, I don't know, I'm not that big. I didn't play in the NBA. I've never shot free throws in front of that many people. So I think we need more of Ernie Johnson. We need more guys that didn't play at a high level, women that didn't play. How about this? And I don't know. I mean, but when you look at these, the women, and they're in at least in basketball, they've played. And they, at some point in time, we have to understand that the way everything else in society is done, and the rules we have, the expectations we have, the boundaries we have, the belief in your credibility that we have has to translate into sports. At some point in time, you're just going to force people to because I'm blown away when people don't I don't understand it. And I'm like, God, there's and I've said this, how do you sit in a press conference when some dude, how do you sit in a press conference with some dude who's never competed at any remotely high level giving you shit. There's a difference between going, hey, Giannis, quick question, tough game 6, great season. What do y'all think that as a team that you may have been able to do differently? Like just a question. Like you can ask a tough question as opposed to, well, do you assume you're a failure? And I love Giannis' response. He's like, I don't know, you have a job, right? Do you get promoted every year? Every year you don't get promoted, is that a failure? Like, where are we not pushing back? We need to push back. Like, people don't just people ask you questions for one or two reasons. One, they want the information. Two, they want to bully you. Stephen A is the epitome of a little dude who's a bully. I mean, with his microphone, right? Kawhi fucking Leonard should be forced to retire. He's the worst superstar ever. And he's this awful fucking basketball player. And oh my God, he should be forced to retire. Talking about the injuries that he's never experienced. Walking to the refrigerator, he's not going to get injured. Walking into his studio, he's probably not going to get injured. But he knows about the injuries. Thank you, JJ Redick, for stopping the fucking bullshit. And now, I always like, more athletes. Why don't more athletes do that? And I've asked people that have played, like in the big leagues, in the NFL, in the NBA. I've asked them. I've had a couple on this podcast. Like, dude, why? Like, well, they're just doing their job. What fucking job? Their job is not to belittle you and if they've never done it. If Shaquille O'Neal wants to go, why didn't he step in front of him, play defense, or punch a guy in the head for hitting his teammate? He can do that. He's been there. If he wants to say, man, based on the injuries, I'm surprised this and this and this, because he's been through it and had those injuries. Got it. If a guy wants to comment on a baseball game that had Tommy John surgery and wants to talk about it, got it. But for people that, I remember back in the day, like Chuck Knobloch, and I remember reading, and people were like, I can't believe he's going through this. I can't believe I can't believe he's got the yips, and I can't believe he can't throw the ball to first base. I'm thinking, every one of you dudes writing this and commenting about it could probably not throw the ball to first base from where an average second baseman plays anyway, because you're so fucking unathletic. And you want to give him shit because throughout his career, shit happened maybe, and when there's fucking 45,000 people watching and millions on TV that, he short arms a couple throws and aims them and got in his own head like everybody else in the world. I'm okay, you're reporting on it. Report on it. But this, I'm going to bully, I'm going to do this. What's going to happen to Stephen A. Smith? Probably nothing. You're going to keep popping off the mouth. But guys like JJ Redick need to keep calling him on his bullshit. They just have to. Because if not, this goes from reporting on athletic events and appreciating what's happening, and it's turning into the fucking WWE, where we get a guy like Siegel. Well, people watch that. I don't want to, dude. I don't. If you like the WWE on TV, go watch it in person. If you still like it, then you're a better person than me, I guess. I don't know. I can't. The guy gets hit, and 47 seconds later, you hear this pound on the mat. It's like, oh, man, I wish I didn't do that. I should just kept watching it on TV, But I've been saying this forever. Like, dude, when is one of those guys going to turn around and go, dude, shut up. You don't have an opinion on that. I believe, and it'd be my hypothesis, my educated guess from watching them, that if Ernie Johnson he would never do what Stephen A. did, because he don't try to bully from behind a microphone. He's honest about who he is and who he isn't. When I see him on TV, I don't know him. I think if he started going down a path in providing judgment, especially in a very attacking manner, I think one of them dudes would check him in a minute. Like, hey, bro, you've never done that. You don't know, Ernie. You've never walked in that guy's shoes. No different than if Ernie Johnson screws something up at work because he's doing so much and doing this sport and that sport, and somebody goes, can't believe he did that. It's like, I don't know, have you ever been on TV like that? Have you ever read, have you ever been responsible? At some point as a society, stay in your fucking lane, get good at what you're good at. You want to talk shit about it? You want to judge people? Have at it. You want to, then have at it. That's your business. You've walked in those shoes, have at it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, and I've said this about everything. You know, people are like, they should have done this. I'm like, I don't know that. I've never served our country. I have the utmost admiration and respect for everybody who has, and I don't have any judgment on what they do or don't do because I've not walked in their shoes. I've never been a single mom. I'm not walking in those shoes. I had one, but I've never been one. Fucking I know. You know what I mean? Like, it's just at the end of the day, we need more JJ Redick and a fucking hell of a lot less of Stephen A. A hell of a lot less. And we start trying to force people to retire and disparaging the shit out of them because we have nothing else to do or feel inadequate about ourselves. You want to watch something funny, watch him and Jalen Rose try to talk about stuff at the same time. Unbelievable basketball player, dude they never played, and watch him trying to watch it. And Jalen Rose is like, he's just cool, man. What did my man say from ESPN? He was the best, dude. Cool as the other side of the pillow. Like, you know, like it's just the inadequacy pours out, and then it becomes and what is every bully, especially through the internet or through a microphone, bully is just how they feel about themselves. But you ain't got the right to have an opinion, bro, because you wouldn't know. And thank you, JJ, for calling him out. I think we should talk more about this. I think I'm interested in your opinion. I do watch. Sports are entertaining to me. Gambling's fun and depends on the day and the game and what I took and what I didn't take. But it's like this one little segment of society. You can be an unathletic dude and pop up with the mouth all you want. And I think that shit's got to end. And I think it will. I think more people are going to push back. And those guys, thank God in the future, those guys will fade away. There's no use for them. If they understand their role, I get it. But this and everybody else that's never competed at a high level in sports, they seem to get it. They just seem to understand their role. But Stephen A., Bayless, and these other guys, they don't. But they keep getting checked, they will, real quick. They'll back down. What are all bullies doing when they're confronted? Cower like the bitches they are. So let me know what your feedback is. You like, you don't like, share, subscribe, comment. You don't agree with me at all, tell me, I can take it. You agree with me, let me know. You don't care either way, cool. You want to argue, cool. That's my opinion. That's where I'm at and something I am pretty passionate about. And thank you, JJ Redick.